Hi guys, it's Kath from Simple Reflect, and we are here with another one of our Wednesday night hashtag Educators Can, and we have the beautiful Kelly with us tonight. Hi Kelly, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Oh, I just jinxed us. I said that we've been really, really great with no glitches, and now we are really, really glitchy. Goodness gracious. Tonight is a super, super important educators hashtag educators can. I really, really want to share Kelly and what she's doing with you, and she has frozen. So let's just have a little bit of a look on whether we're actually coming through. So as you come on, say hi. Can you actually hear me? All I can see is two frozen faces. So, oh my goodness. Oh, yay. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you.
I can still hear you,
I'm
Kath.
not
I don't know
quite
if you can hear
sure.
me.
I think Kelly's a little bit frozen. Oh, hi, Kathleen. How are you? Oh, super. Okay, I'm glad you can hear me. All I can see with Kelly is a frozen face. So we might just have to wait for her to refresh. Oh, good. Okay.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Super. Thank you, Kathleen. We will keep going. I might try and... Okay. Oh, I can't see you, Kelly. However, I can see you perfectly on the Facebook, so I don't quite know how we can do this. However, tonight is super important, and I really wanted to share Kelly with you because she's doing something super, super important for us as educators. And we know Kelly before, so she's been on once before. And if you would like to hear more about her story, there is the repeats of the educators hashtag educators can are all up on the Simple Reflect YouTube page. So if you would like to go back and see the episodes that she's been in, but I think it's really important for you to get to know her. And I really want to hand it over to her to tell you what she is doing. So go for it, Kelly. All I can see is a blank screen with you there. But if you can hear me and everyone can hear Kelly, then Kelly's got the floor.
Thanks so much, Kath. I just wanted to come on and introduce myself tonight to let everyone know about the Family Daycare Australia board positions that become available every 3 years for any member that is a part of family daycare. So it can be educators, service managers, anyone that is a current member of Family Daycare Australia can nominate to be on the board. The position serves for, as I said, 3 years, and it's a voluntary unpaid position. But basically, if you are successful in getting onto the board, you're responsible for the governance of the organisation. So that includes looking at all of our strategic direction for Family Daycare Australia, for the finances, for the policies, procedures, for all of those things. Can you hear me, Kath, at all? No, okay. So basically what happened was everyone was sent an email asking if anyone wanted to nominate, and I read through what was involved, read through the requirements that were needed, the sorts of skills and qualifications that were needed to become a board member, and I felt oh, great.
I can hear you through Facebook, but there's like a 3-minute delay.
Okay. So I felt like I met those criteria. So I spoke to a couple of other local educators. I'm in Townsville, and basically they decided that it was a good idea to nominate me. So my nomination went through, and I was then invited to put forward my application. So we had to meet a whole series of selection criteria. We had to have reference checks done on us. We had to have all of our criminal history checks done again, but rather than for specific child protection issues, this was more to see if I'd been involved in any legal issues with company direction. And then we also even had to have bankruptcy checks, all those sorts of things done. They really did follow through with all of those things. All of my referees, which were rung, all of them were checked. And basically 4 of us got through to the voting process. So what happens now is there's 2 positions available. So 2 people will be successful in getting through and 2 won't. And all of the members are now entitled to vote basically on who they think would best represent them on the board for basically our national representative. Still got that delay, Kath. I'll just wait for Kath to see how much she wants me to go into.
This is just super, super exciting because I really didn't, I didn't really understand that we as educators would have this input, and it really feels like we are empowered as educators to actually make a choice about who we want to represent us. It's sorry, the delay is really, really hard.
Yeah.
But I was really excited. And then the reason I really wanted Kelly on tonight was because I went to playgroup today and I talked to the educators about the email that we all received on Friday explaining that we do have a choice and that we really need to look at this. So as educators, none of the educators at playgroup knew anything about the board, or that they had a choice, or that there were actually educators that were putting their hands up for it. And I just think this is a really exciting opportunity to actually have an educator represent us. And I was really excited when Kelly put her hand up and let me know that she was nominated, because I had no idea. And so I really wanted to talk to you about this tonight, because we have someone that is a current educator that is willing to stand up and represent us. And I just think it's super, super exciting. So I know, Kelly, that you've had quite a lot of experience as well before you came in as an educator. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about your previous experience and what makes you feel like you would like to step up in this role or be good in this role, or why educators should trust you to represent us in this role?
Yeah, I think that the most important thing to start with is that this is one of 2 positions on the board only that are elected by the members themselves. So this is exactly like you said, the members' opportunity to say who they want on the board. There are a range of other people that are on the board already. We have people that are lawyers, people that have a great deal of background in finance, in high-level business finance, and those people are obviously really valuable to have on the board, because we want lawyers to look over some of the legal things that we enter into as family daycare educators. We want to know that there's business people advising on the high level finance stuff, but we also really need to make sure that the actual grassroots educators, the people that are out there doing family daycare every day, operating every day, are represented by someone that's actually doing the same thing as they are. And to me, that's where my greatest strength lies. At the moment, I am a full-time educator. I'm not a service operator. I'm not someone looking at it as a stepping stone in their career. I'm looking at it because my own children are involved in family daycare, because this is what I do on a daily basis, and I want the best for not just myself and my family, but for all of your families as well, and for you as the educators. Having said that, it's obviously important, though, that the person that's there representing you has some of those skills that are necessary to operate at that level. So, like you said, I've had quite a history prior to family daycare. Some of my previous positions were as a deputy principal of a high school. So obviously operating at that level, I was looking at operational planning, human resources planning for teaching and non-teaching staff, looking after hundreds of students, doing all of the day-to-day runnings and operations of a school. And then after that, I worked as a district behaviour coordinator for at-risk children. And at-risk youth is where my biggest passion lies. My role was basically to look at the children from across the district. So every state school within the Townsville region was to look at all of the children that were at the highest risk of disadvantage, and then act as the case manager from the education side of things. So often with children that were involved with youth justice, child safety, drug and alcohol sorts of backgrounds, abuse cases, all of those types of, not so nice situations. But my job was to represent what we could do for them to support them from the Department of Education point of view. And then to go into their schools across the town and work with their teachers to work on the strategies and skills that they were using with those children at the grassroots level in their classrooms. So that was what I was doing prior to family daycare. I was a primary school teacher, a Bachelor of Education in primary school before I looked into family daycare, but family daycare was always the plan with our family, that as soon as I took leave to have children, that would be what I would be doing at home. And so I still done my Certificate 3 in Early Education and Care and my Diploma in Early Education and Care, my Certificate 4 in Training and Assessment. And when I first started doing family daycare, I also used to tutor in the Certificate 3 for our local TAFE. So I would have the at-risk Indigenous students that were doing the certificate and giving them extra tutoring to help them to make sure that they would be able to pass in their classes. So that was also very rewarding.
Yeah, that's super. Wow. Okay. So, guys, now that Kelly's told you a little bit about herself, I really want to give you the opportunity to ask her some questions. And so if you're here in the replay, pop your questions in as well, because I'm sure Kelly will come back to them. But if you are here live, take this opportunity, grab this opportunity to really chat with her and really ask some questions. So this is your opportunity to really grab that and run with it and ask her some questions. So I've got Marilyn says, wow.
Yeah, I can't see them, Kath.
But Marilyn, that's not a question. What would you like to know about Kelly? What would you really like to know about her so that you can confidently vote for her? So the floor is open to you guys to ask some questions. So Marilyn says, amazing. You definitely seem to be the right person for this position. I totally agree with you, Marilyn. I was very excited when Kelly told me what she was doing. Kelly, what will this mean for you? Will it mean that you will cut back on your hours at family daycare? How do you plan to balance the position?
Great question, and that was honestly my biggest consideration in choosing to apply for it. Apart from obviously needing to have those skills to be able to do the job in the first place, but I, had been looking for something that was missing. I guess I'd had all of that quite high level operation before coming into family daycare, and it wasn't that. I've never been so busy in my life than dealing with everything that I have to do in managing, having my family and running my own service. But something for me was missing at that strategic level. But everything that I looked at so far involved, missing out on being able to do my job, needing to find too much extra time outside of hours that wasn't available, and also a lot of travel. Being in Townsville, that was difficult for me. But with this position, it involves 4 meetings a year that they pay for me to go and attend. So they'll pay for the travel and some basic accommodation, just overnight to go down to have those meetings, and they're all on a Saturday. So for me, I don't work on a Saturday. I work a Monday to Friday. So it meant that I won't be dropping down any of my hours or changing anything from the families that I work for at the moment. That was very important for me. So it does involve extra, definitely, but it involves things that I can do in preparation leading up to those meetings at more flexible times. So reading through the documentation that's necessary can be done. I can do that ahead of time, after hours, after my children have gone to sleep at night, and it just gives me something a little bit more to delve into for my own interest. But it doesn't take anything away from my family or from the families that I work for.
Super. Okay, Marilyn says, unfortunately, I'm not registered as Family Daycare Australia member. And I suppose that does heed the question, I suppose. I know 10 years ago, 20 years ago, all educators were registered with Family Daycare Australia. And now there's quite a choice for educators, isn't there? So do we actually know what, statistically wise, what educators are actually registered now with Family Daycare Australia?
I haven't found anything specifically to give numbers on that. I know that Family Daycare Australia say that we have over 21,000 educators that operate within Australia, but I'm not sure whether that's a reflection of just those that are registered with Family Daycare Australia or just services that are registered out there to meet the criteria. I know at the moment that anyone that pays their insurance through Family Daycare Australia automatically becomes a member of Family Daycare Australia. But like you said, given that there's a lot of choice now about insurance, it means that it's not something that's compulsory at all. So people can still elect to become a member and pay for their membership. But yeah, it's definitely not something that's compulsory at all.
Yeah. Yeah, super. It's all really interesting to me. I just haven't actually ever heard anything about the board or anything about the choices. Like, this is a 3-year position as well, you said, which makes sense. But as you know, as an educator that's never actually heard anything about it, I was surprised by that too.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think that the reason they offer it as a 3-year position is obviously that's giving a long enough time for someone to get in and to understand and be trained in the position and understand what they have to do and be actively involved in the position, but short enough time that it's giving plenty of opportunities for new people to get involved all of the time. But yeah, this was the first time I had seen it come up and the first time that I had taken a lot of interest in it, because like you said, sometimes things come through and you think, oh, yeah, that's another thing that doesn't apply to me. You know, that you sort of think, oh, that's for other people. And I'm not sure exactly what it was about this particular, notification that came through, but I just decided to really look into it this time and see what it was about and see who was applying, why, and all of the rest of that.
I think it's super exciting. Okay. Marilyn says, our scheme organises our insurance so that it remains affordable for each educator. Oh, that's really interesting, Marilyn. So you don't actually have choice on where your insurance is done by. Wow. Okay. That was something that I didn't realise. I would love to hear from other educators. Do you have choice, or does your scheme actually organise that? That's a really big thing. Kelly, did you realise that all educators don't necessarily have a choice about their insurance?
No, that's the first time I've heard of it being arranged that way. I knew that everyone had, my interpretation was that each individual educator had their own choices to which provider they would go through, and that there are more providers than just Family Day Care Australia now for insurance. But that's the first time I've heard of a scheme organising it for all of their educators.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Okay, so Kathleen says we can choose whoever we want to go with. Yeah, absolutely. We had our scheme just literally just ticks off that we have our insurance and notes it down, of course, on our re-registration every year. But it is totally our responsibility to organise it and to make sure it's kept current. Marilyn says we can go with some other insurance, but it actually works out so much cheaper with all the educators going with one. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so interesting, Marilyn. Thank you for sharing. So, Kelly, before we finish up, was there anything else that you wanted to share with us?
I know I should have something up my sleeve, but probably just that I just think that it was a perfect opportunity for me to find something that was going to give me that little bit extra, but that was going to be so relevant to what I'm really engaged with now. And in saying that, I just think that anyone that is considering voting, that it's so important to think about voting for someone that really still is engaged. I can tell you from my experience when I was working as a deputy principal. The reason I went back into a position where I could still engage with children is because sometimes, you know, and in an actual teaching manner, was that sometimes you can lose a bit of that understanding and empathy for the actual educators and for the children when you've got a bit more separation from it. So I think that it is important that, yes, that we have people that are service operators that are representative on the board, because they are representing other service providers, other service managers. But I also think that the bulk of the people that are represented is the educators. And the best way that I've ever found to support children is by supporting the people that are the most influential on providing the best environments, the best resources, the best skills for them, is by sort of making sure that the educators are supported, and that's what I'd really like to do.
Oh, I love that, Kelly. I so 100% agree. Absolutely. And yeah, it's exciting to me that that you actually want this position, and I truly believe that you do a fabulous job in it as well. So that is why I wanted to share this tonight with everyone, just so that they could really hear what you have to say and hear what you're passionate about, as well as hear your experience, because I think both is really, really important. And just to know what what you have to share. Thank you for tonight, guys. If you have questions for Kelly, pop them down in the comments below. She will come back to them. I'll come back to them. When do our votes need to be in by, Kelly? That's probably something that we haven't asked.
The 28th of September is when everything needs to be. So do it by the 27th so that you make sure that they're in.
All right, so on my page, I will pop up a "Have you voted" blurb, and if you see that come up, you know that now is you've left it a little bit too late, but you still have a second, so pop it in. So on the 27th, I'll pop something up just to give everyone a little bit of a reminder. Thank you so much, Kelly. I think this is really, really an important discussion to have, and we would love to have you back at some stage as well. You know, whether you get on or not, it'd be really nice to hear some more from you as well. Yep. We will be back next Wednesday night for another Educators #EducatorsCan. I believe Nikki will be back, so join us then. If you think of any questions, pop them in. We will get to them. We will answer them. And we just love connecting with educators each Wednesday night. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.